Iran has the largest stockpile of ballistic missiles in the Middle East with a maximum range of 1500 miles. But the US is in a distance of 7,200 miles from Tehran. It's one of the many, but not the most important reasons that Iran can't or won't strike US directly. So Iran launched missiles across the Gulf. Explosions were reported near US military installations in Qatar, Bahrain, Kuwait, and the UAE. If you look at this explosion like a headline reader, you see retaliation, chaos. But if you look at it like a thinker or a strategist, you see leverage, incentives, and structures. Power is not about anger, it's about reach. So when Iran responds, it strikes where it can hit and where the impact will matter the most. Because strategy always follows geography. The United States does not project power into the Middle East from Texas. It does it from the Gulf, from Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar, from the Fifth Fleet in Bahrain, from installations in Kuwait, the UAE, and Jordan. These bases are the operational nerve centers of American military presence in the Middle East. If Iran wants to signal that it can hurt US interests, it doesn't need to hit American homeland. It hits the machinery of American power. If the US mainland is the heart, the Gulf is the nerve system. Many, many nerves. Strike the nerves and you send a message. When Iran strikes US assets in the Gulf, it is not speaking to just one audience, it's speaking to at least four. First, Washington. The message is simple: escalation will be costly. Second, Gulf governments who host American forces. Hosting US power now carries risk. Third, the Iranian people. It shows strength without triggering catastrophe. And fourth, negotiators. Every missile changes leverage. In modern power, war is rarely about revenge. It's about bargaining position. Gulf states are not passive players. Saudi, the UAE, Qatar, Kuwait, their economies depend on stability, on oil flows, tourism, foreign investment. When missiles land in their territory, even near military sites, it creates pressure. Pressure on sovereignty, markets, and leadership. Iran understands this. By targeting the Gulf, Tehran is not just responding to Washington, it is making its neighbors feel the cost of allowing conflict in their backyard. That's regional leverage. Now, here's the most important part. Iran understands escalations happens step by step. A direct strike on the US mainland would invite overwhelming retaliation. It would move the conflict from regional confrontation to catastrophic war. This is not leverage, this is annihilation. So instead, Tehran chooses to stay lower on the ladder, forceful enough to signal resolve, but restrained enough to avoid collapse. Now let's zoom out a little. Geopolitical conflict is rarely emotional, it's mathematical. Every move is weighed against consequence. Iran didn't strike America directly. It is struck where pressure creates influence, and in modern politics, influence is everything. Missiles grab attention, but systems decide outcomes. What happened in the Gulf wasn't random retaliation, it was calculated pressure inside a larger structure of power, bounded by geography, capability, and consequences. If you want to understand events like this, you don't just watch the explosions, you study the incentives behind them. And while today's escalation was measured, Khamenei's death by US Israel strike would change the equation in the long run. Only time will tell.